Hello, this is a training about the Family Empowerment Scholarship for Unique Abilities, or FES-UA, for families. This training is for families that have completed the intent to continue or a new application and have an eligible or awarded status through Step Up for Students. Today we will cover what is an ESA, how to use funds for private school, how to use funds for other educational options, including homeschool, and sibling eligibility for the FES-EO, or Family Empowerment Educational Options Scholarship, and how to apply. So let's get started. An educational savings account is like a bank account for scholarship families. All information pertaining to a student's ESA is private, but parents can choose to share certain information with schools or providers. An ESA allows you to customize your children's education and use scholarship funds to pay for things like tuition and fees to an eligible participating private school, homeschool, online learning, and much more. Specific detailed information can be found in the Step Up for Students FES-UA Parent Handbook. I will share a link with you later on in this presentation to our FES-UA Parent Handbook. That will be a very helpful document for you, and I encourage you to download that document and read it. Parents will need to prioritize their funds for tuition and fees if they wish to use their scholarship dollars to pay for private school. Families should not use their ESA funds on other services or products until they have paid for tuition. There are many approved uses for your FES-UA funds, from horse therapy to a college savings account. Some other uses are instructional materials, home education program tuition and fees, eligible post-secondary institution or program, part-time tutoring, Florida virtual school courses, and even the Florida Department of Education approved online courses. For families that choose to put students in private school, scholarship funds can be used to pay towards tuition and fees. Schools can submit reimbursement to FES-UA family accounts quarterly, which will trigger families to approve the payment. Or families can pay the school out of pocket and submit a receipt for reimbursement. We will explain more about this in a few slides. For families that choose to homeschool, scholarship funds can be used to purchase curriculum and educational materials. Funds can also be used to purchase technology devices, tutoring services, private therapy, and more. Before we move forward, let's discuss some application terminology. If you see eligible for award, this means the student is pending final verification by the Florida Department of Education. Once completed, if the student is unable to be verified, you will be notified of the reason. If the student is verified, the status will change to awarded. Let's talk about what the awarded status means. This means that Step Up for Students has found the student to meet initial eligibility, and the Department of Education has confirmed the eligibility. If you have an awarded status and you choose to have your school submit for reimbursement in order to pay your tuition, you can provide your school with your FES-UA student ID at this time. Your FES-UA student ID can be found on your FES-UA parent portal under the Account Activity tab. If you see the pending status, that means that documents have been submitted and they're awaiting review by Step Up for Students. You will see funded when funds have arrived into your student's account. If you see waitlisted, that means that the student meets eligibility requirements, but there are no scholarships currently available. Please note that we are unable to verify the student's CAP exemption data without the help from the Florida Department of Education. So if you see waitlisted, please be patient, as we will need to wait for the Florida Department of Education to look over it in order to determine which students are eligible and which are not. If you see continuing, that means the student is no longer eligible to receive additional funding, usually because they have aged out or graduated from the program, but the family can continue to utilize the funds that are left over in their ESA account. Hopefully, understanding this application status terminology will help you as you learn how to navigate the scholarship program. The scholarship amount varies according to grade, county, and matrix score. This year's amounts have been released and are available on our website. Students who use the McKay Scholarship for the 2020-2021 school year and the 2021-2022 school year will receive their 2020-2021 scholarship award amount or the 2022-23 scholarship award amount, whichever is higher. Money in the account can roll over from one year to the next if the student remains in the program. If an account is inactive for 2 consecutive fiscal years, the account must be closed and any remaining funds will revert to the state. On this slide, you can see a picture of the scholarship funding chart. This is an important chart for you to be aware of, and it is available on our website. You can scan this QR code to pull the chart up right now. You will go to the county in which you live, the grade level of your child, and their matrix score to determine the amount you will be funded for this school year. Please note that if your child had the scholarship in the year 2020 to 21 and 2021 to 2022, they will either receive that amount or the new amount, whichever is higher. So you have the scholarship. Now, how do you access the funds? You're going to do that through your Step Up for Students parent portal. Step Up's FES-UA families will manage their ESA through the Step Up for Students online platform. You will log into the FES-UA platform to electronically approve payments to your school and provider, to shop for educational goods and services using our My Scholarshop platform. You can submit pre-authorization requests and a reimbursement request form. Please remember to prioritize your funds for tuition and fees if you wish to use your scholarship dollars for your student's private school. Important, if you shop on My Scholarshop to purchase items, those funds will be deducted from your educational savings account. Now let's talk about how to use the Family Empowerment Scholarship for Unique Abilities should you choose to attend an eligible participating private school. There are several ways to pay for private school tuition and fees. Families in private school need to prioritize their funds for tuition. Funds are awarded quarterly, and schools cannot submit reimbursements for more than what is in the child's account. Please let your school know how much you'd like them to submit a reimbursement for each quarter. There are multiple ways you can pay tuition with FES-UA. You can approve a reimbursement request from your school. You can pay out of pocket and submit for reimbursement, or you can add funds to a 529 UTMA or UGMA account directly from your FES-UA account. The process for paying tuition is done quarterly following the steps shown. First, the school will submit a request for payment. Next, you will be notified so that you can log on to your portal and approve the payment. That's all you need to do. Then we will process the payment and the funds will go directly to your school's bank account. This video shows you how to approve payment to a private school. You can scan this QR code and go to our YouTube channel to watch the video. I highly suggest you do this because it will ensure that you understand exactly what's needed in order to pay your school if you choose to have them submit for the reimbursement and you will approve the payment. But it's really quite easy and I'm sure you won't have any trouble doing this. Next, we will share with you how parents can pay tuition out of pocket and submit for a reimbursement. For more details, you can scan this QR code to go to our YouTube channel and see a video that shows you how to submit for a reimbursement for tuition. There is a very helpful step-by-step checklist about how to submit for reimbursements available in the FES-UA Handbook. I'm going to share a link with you to that handbook at the end of this presentation, but it is readily available on our Step Up for Students website. In order to submit for a reimbursement, if you choose to pay out of pocket, you will need to go into your parent portal and choose the Account Activity tab, and then click on Submit a Reimbursement Request. Once there, you will complete the information using the supporting documentation on the following slides. In order to request a reimbursement of tuition and fees at an eligible participating private school, it must include a complete invoice and proof of payment. Invoices must include the name, address, and contact of the eligible private school, scholarship student's full name, invoice dates, school year, and itemized charges. Please include one of the following for proof of payment: a credit card or bank statement, including the transaction date, payee name, and amount, a PayPal receipt, including the purchase date, payee name, amount, and funding source, a copy of the front and back of a cleared check, including the payee date, payee name, and amount. In order for a parent to receive payment for a reimbursement request, the parent will need to provide documentation for the invoice. Documentation can be a fax statement, including the school's name, student's first and last name, description of each payment to be reimbursed, payment dates, and amounts. A fax statement can be found on your fax mobile website under Payment Plan and Billing Transactions. Include the individual payment details specific to the student and current reimbursement request. You can also submit proof of cash payments with a signed and dated letter from the school on their letterhead, including the school's name, student first and last name, description of each payment to be reimbursed, payment dates, amounts, and payment method. Or you can use a credit card receipt with the transaction date, payee name, and amount. I know this sounds like a lot of information and it might be a little bit confusing, but don't worry. I'm going to go back 2 or 3 slides. This is the video for you. If you're choosing to pay for your private school tuition and fees out of pocket and you want to submit for reimbursement, we have a very helpful video for you that will go into complete detail about all the paperwork you need. If you submit a reimbursement and you include all the required paperwork that we explain in this video and that I just explained to you with all the correct dates and names, etc., you will not have a problem getting reimbursed. So I highly recommend you watch this video. And as a reminder, in our parent handbook, we also have a very helpful checklist for you that tells you step by step exactly what you need in order to receive a reimbursement if you choose to pay for your tuition and fees out of pocket. I encourage you to look at that checklist. Now let's talk about using funds for a 529 account. Did you know that you can use your FES-UA scholarship to save for college education? A Florida 529 plan is a flexible, affordable, tax-free way to save for college. Saving a little bit at a time adds up big for college savings. You can learn more at myfloridaprepaid.com. The Florida 529 Savings Plan request must be submitted under the Pay To option, Provider, using provider name FL529 Savings Plan. Please note that you need to submit your request by the 14th day of each month. There are some restrictions on scholarship funds contributed to a 529 account, so I'm going to quickly go through the restrictions and how they work. Please note that the account type must be a UTMA or a UGMA. The account owner cannot change the beneficiary of the account that contains scholarship funds. The privately contributed funds in the account, if there are any, will be used to pay plan benefits before the scholarship funds. If a Florida 529 savings account is closed, the money will go back to the open scholarship account along with any interest accumulated, or to the state of Florida if the scholarship account has been closed. If a student's scholarship account closes for any reason, any money in the 529 college savings account will be returned to the state of Florida. If you have an existing 529 savings plan, scholarship funds will be managed in a separate account from the private funds that are invested. Parents may submit requests for reimbursement for the Florida prepaid college plan, selecting the Pay To option of myself, using the provider name Florida Prepaid College Board. Reimbursement requests or direct contribution requests must be submitted by the 14th day of each month and will be sent to Florida Prepaid for verification monthly before each reimbursement or payment is made. The student's name listed on the scholarship account must match the name of the beneficiary of the Florida Prepaid account. Any requests received after the 14th day of the month will not be looked at until the next month. If you have extra funds in your account, you can purchase educational items in My Scholarshop. Whether your child is in private school or homeschooled, you will want to scan this QR code to go to our YouTube channel and see a video that shows you how to use My Scholarshop. You can also see videos about how to submit a pre-authorization should you want to purchase something that is not in My Scholarshop. Now we're going to talk about how to use your FES-UA educational savings account if you are a homeschool family. In addition to private school tuition and a 529 account, scholarship funds can be used to help homeschool families. You can find many pre-approved expenses on our website. Hover over For Parents and look under Scholarships for Special Needs Students for a link to pre-approved expenses. You can also look on My Scholarshop. All of these resources are available on our website. As a reminder, if you have extra funds in your account, you can purchase educational items in My Scholarshop. If your child is in private school or homeschooled, you will want to scan this QR code and go to our YouTube channel to see a video that shows you how to use My Scholarshop. You can also see videos about how to submit a pre-authorization should you want to purchase something that is not in the Scholarshop. If you choose to partner with an approved home education program, such as Classical Education Days at Riverside or CEDAR, you must continue with the specific program requirements. A full list of approved home education programs can be located in the Parent Handbook. For more information and additional resources, you can contact these independent organizations, the Florida Homeschool Association, Florida Parent Educators Association, and the Home Education Foundation. The Florida Department of Education has a home education frequently asked questions located on their website. Scan this QR code to access that information. On this slide, you see where you can find the FES-UA Parent Handbook. I'm sure you've heard me mention it throughout this presentation, so I want you to please pay attention and scan this QR code because this handbook will answer 90% of the questions that you have about your new scholarship. So I encourage you to download it, print it off, give it a read, and when you come up with a question, go there first to find your answer. I especially would like to recommend you look in the appendix because there are some really helpful checklists in the back of the appendix that will help you learn how to use your scholarship and use it effectively. Siblings of funded FES-UA students are eligible for the Educational Options or FES-EO program regardless of their family's income. On the following slides, we will explain what the FES-EO scholarship is and how you can apply for your children. The Family Empowerment Scholarship for Educational Options, or FES-EO, gives families of students in grades kindergarten through 12 financial assistance to be used toward private school tuition and fees. Your siblings would qualify because you have a student on FES-UA, and this would be for siblings who are not eligible for the UA scholarship. So if you have children that do not have a qualifying diagnosis but are in grades kindergarten through 12, then you would want to apply for the FES-EO program so that you can receive funding to pay for private school tuition and fees. Your siblings are eligible because you have a child on FES-UA. Scholarship funds can be used to pay for tuition and fees at an eligible participating private school. FES-EO is once in, always in. So that means once your child receives FES-EO, they're able to keep it until they graduate from high school or return to public school, whichever comes first. Parents must approve quarterly payments to the private school. Your funding amount for FES-EO is based on the county in which you live and the grade level of your students. Each year, you will complete an intent to continue to let Step Up for Students know that your child's going to keep that scholarship. A very important note is that you will need your FES-UA student ID when you complete the FES-EO application, and I'm going to show you exactly where to find that on the next slide. And you will have a different application and login for FES-EO than you do for FES-UA, and you will apply as a new family for FES-EO. Even though you already have FES-UA, you're considered a new family for FES-EO, and these are completely different scholarships. FES-EO is not an educational savings account like FES-UA is. So let's talk about what you need to do. As FES-UA families, what you'll want to do is go to our website at stepupforstudents.org and click on Apply Login at the top. Once there, you will follow the prompts for the FES-EO scholarship. During the application process, you will be asked for your student's FES-UA ID number. This number can be found in your FES-UA account under the Account Activities tab. So I encourage you to get this number now before you begin your FES-EO application, because this is the number that will be used to link your FES-UA child to their siblings on FES-EO. So again, you're going to go into your FES-UA parent portal, which we talked about earlier in this presentation, and you're going to click on the Account Activity tab. And on your screen, you see a red box. There you see student name and the FES, formerly Gardner student ID. That is the number you need. That is a very important number, and that is the number that you will need so that you can link your two students together and be eligible for FES-EO regardless of your income. On the question here that you see that says, does the student you are applying for have a sibling participating in the FES, formerly Gardner, who resides in the same household? You will click yes, and that's where you will write in the FES-UA Gardner ID number. Here are some tips to help you get through the application process for FES-EO siblings. The first is when you reach the income page, click Next. Yes, I said click Next. You will not enter anything on the income page. This will help expedite your application if you do this. So again, you do not need to enter anything on the income page, just click Next. When you click Next without adding your income, you are going to receive a message that says you didn't enter any income for the adults in your household. Is this correct? You will click yes, then you will click Next to continue. You're going to see a statement of no household income. It's going to ask you for a reason that you did not put any income, and you're going to write in sibling of FES-UA recipient. Then you will review your application and hit submit. Once you do that, you will find out if your child is able to receive the FES-EO sibling scholarship. Once again, I thank you for your time today. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for our most up-to-date videos. You can scan this QR code and it'll take you right to our YouTube channel. Remember to look at the videos specific to this school year, because sometimes things are out of date. And finally, this is our contact page. If you have any additional questions, you can call us at 877-735-7837. We also have a very helpful chat option on our website. So if you go to stepupforstudents.org, you can chat with one of our live agents who can answer your questions. I hope this was helpful for you, and I wish you lots of luck this year and moving forward and finding the best educational options for your children. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.